One of the things that I had a challenge with was linking what we were doing in the classroom with the why. I really didn't understand it even when I went to college, and I had passed a lot of the calculus classes. And then when about my junior year, I had a teacher named Alexander Katsevich at the University of Central Florida. Dr. Katsevich is the only teacher I've ever had that writes at the top of the whiteboard or chalkboard because he is incredibly tall. And he uses the entire space, so that was quite new. And briefly in his conversations, he would talk about some of his work as a mathematician, and I never understood what that meant. Well, it turns out that Dr. Katsevich is really brilliant, and he has actually done a lot of work towards inventing the Katsevich algorithm, named for him. And it's really important in empowering CAT scan machines to recreate the reconstructions for tomography. And so while I was in school, I got really sick, and I needed a CAT scan. And I was laying in the machine, there's not a lot to do, and I remembered hearing about my teacher talk about CAT scan machines. And I realized that his technology, as a mathematician, was now helping to potentially diagnose or save my life. And I'd never made that realization that in what you're doing and what you're teaching in these classrooms is giving students the tools in order to do that. And it didn't stop just there for the Katsevich algorithm. He recently won an award from the King of Sweden because the same technology is actually really good at CAT scanning lumber to be able to make the next IKEA products in Sweden. And it allowed them about 10% extra wood because they had a better scan and they knew how they could bin the woods into the parts that eventually we purchase and have all of our furniture out of. And that 10% extra wood per log actually turns out to be billions of dollars for the lumber industry in Sweden and around the world. And it was done by a mathematician. And so that was what really challenged me, is that going through math, I didn't understand the why. And you all are helping explain that to your students, and I hope it's coming across because I wish I had known just how powerful it could be. And so for me, as an engineer, I come from a little bit of a different background, but we're very similar. And I found my why when I learned that over 1 billion people around the world battle some sort of disability. And engineers love to solve problems, we love to fix things, and we like to make tools. It's just kind of in our DNA. And when we started to zoom out or zoom in, you can see that just in these countries, about 30 million people require some sort of prosthetic. And I had no idea. In the United States alone, there's about 32,000 kids under the age of 16 who were born with a form of limb loss in their upper arms. And I find it's really easy in America to be in a little bubble, and we only consume the content that's, curated for us by social media or by the news station that we watch, or what's going on in our college campuses or in our classrooms. And it's much harder to ignore when they start emailing you. And that's what happened for us. So when a local family emailed me asking, could you help build our son a bionic arm, it changed everything.